Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. One of the persistent challenges being faced by the Black community is the wealth gap. According to a lot of recent studies, Black wealth and white wealth are hugely disproportionate. Last study I saw said that white wealth was about maybe 10 to 12 times higher than median Black wealth on a per capita basis or a family basis. And so one of the things I want to propose as a solution to this problem, at least for you, it's not a solution for everybody because not everybody's going to do this, even though it's very basic. It doesn't take a lot of discipline to do this for most people. I know finance really well. I taught finance for 23 years. My PhD is in finance. My dissertation was on the stock market. And one of the solutions that I want to propose to you, and I want you to hear me out for a couple of minutes, is what I call, it's something that came to me literally in the middle of the night. I woke up and I wrote down some notes and I said, I got to talk to people about this. And basically it's the $5 a day investment plan, the $5 a day investment plan. Now, it doesn't have to be $5 a day. It could be $50 a day. It could be $15 a day. It could become $2 a day, depending on what you choose. I'm choosing $5 a day because it's easy to explain to people and it's easy to show the results. Now, as I mentioned to you guys, as I mentioned to my students in my investments class, and et cetera, is that Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. That when you understand it, you get to earn it from people who don't understand it. Now, recently I did a video showing that, for example, if you spent $1,000 a month in rent, that you were turning your landlord into a millionaire. If you did that over, say, a 25, 30-year period, and your landlord was investing that money in the stock market, your landlord would have about, according to my numbers, about $1.4 million extra in wealth that he earned from the money that you're giving away. And some people think, well, Black people can't make themselves rich. But the thing is, you make a lot of other people rich just by paying rent, just the rent alone. I could go into a lot of other analogies. Don't get me started on stuff like Rent-A-Center and stuff like that. But just on rent alone, you're creating millionaires every single day. And so with this $5 a day investment plan, I like it because almost anybody can do it. If you can afford a cup of coffee every day, you can do it. If you can afford to go to McDonald's once every day or two, you can do it. If you can afford to go to the movies once every couple of weeks, you can do it. If you can afford to go to the club, you can do it. If you can afford Jordans, you can do it. If you can afford hair weaves, you can do it. If you can afford to give money to your pastor, you can do it. If you can afford money for clothes and going to the mall and Black Friday shopping and all that, then you can do it. So this is something that almost everybody can do. It doesn't mean every single person. Maybe there's somebody out there who really can't afford it, and that's fine. Then at that point, you translate it to $2 a day or $1 a day, or you get together with family members and y'all come together and come up with $5 a day. But if you do this based on history in the stock market, you actually could find yourself with a lot more wealth. And I'm going to do the math for you real quick so you can understand this. But the first thing I want you to see is I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I want you to see the wealth gap over time between whites and Blacks. And I want you to look here and you see that according to this chart, now this actually stops at 2013, but actually for 2016, the number is about 144. Whites have about 144,000 in wealth compared to maybe about 11,600 for Black people. So the gap is pretty big. But this isn't about really catching up with white people. This is really about just sort of putting it into context so you can kind of understand the necessity of kind of us solving this problem on our own and how we can solve it within a generation with very basic behavior, not in monstrously disciplined behavior, but very basic, consistent codes of conduct, codes of economic conduct that get us where we want to get to. The white wealth level's grown by about 30% over the last 30 years. And I'll explain in a second why that's important. Now, here's what I want to show you. Let's go to this calculator. This is what they call a future value of an annuity calculator. In the class, in my stock market investing class, we talk in detail about how annuities work, how compound interest works, the formulas and all that. We won't go into that now. I'm just going to show you how to do with this calculation so you'll kind of see. Now, what you can do with this calculator is you can put in various parameters. So here I change it to daily. I can make it daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. So I'm gonna put daily here, and let's say I'm gonna put $5 a day. Now here you have the type of annuity, or what they call ordinary annuity, annuity due. Doesn't matter which one, but actually ordinary annuity is fine. That's the one that's most typical. And then I can put in the number of years, and then I put in 9% as my annual interest rate. Now, why did I put in 9%? Well, because that's a reasonable rate of return that an investor would have gotten in the stock market over almost any, say, 10, 20, 30-year period in American history. So, for example, if I started this plan in 1992, by the year 2002, I would have had an X amount of dollars, and I could tell you that number exactly. If I started the plan in 1975, I could tell you about how much money I would have had in 1985. That's true for any 10-year period. So what we're doing here is we're guesstimating or extrapolating, whichever term you want to use, of what will happen in 2026 or 2027 if we start in the year 2017 right now. So let me show you this. First, I'm going to do 10 years. And then we're going to do 20, and then we're going to do 30. Okay, so let's say that for 10 straight years, 10 years, you get a basic app. You get an app like Stash, Acorns, or what is the other one? Robinhood, and you put $5 a day into your investment portfolio. And remember, I've mentioned this before. I talk about this extensively with my students in class. There was actually an experiment that showed that if monkeys follow very basic investing strategies, monkeys can actually build wealth. And I'm not making that up. That sounds crazy, but they did an experiment with monkeys investing and picking stocks, and the monkeys built wealth by randomly picking stocks. It's in a book called A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. So let me show you this. Now, so we got $5 a day for 10 years, 9% interest. Let's see how much money you have after 10 years. So after 10 years, that person, now this person could be poor, making minimum wage, putting $5 a day toward their long-term future. How much money do they have in 10 years? Well, according to this equation, and this would be true in almost any 10-year period in American history, if they invested in a very basic way, like the way we teach our students in class, that person would have $29,591.57. I want you to pay attention to another factor here. This is the power of compound interest. Out of that 29,000, 18,250 of that money is the money that they put in, but the interest is $11,000. So they made $11,000 just by investing, just by putting their money in. You go to church and the pastor says, if you put your money in, you're going to the Lord to give it back to you tenfold. Well, the same thing happens actually with stock market investing. When you put money in, you're getting money back. You're getting additional money back that you didn't even earn, that you just earned by letting your money work for you. Your money literally goes out, and it's a concept that I came up with to help people understand this, called economic fertility. Because you've allowed your money to be fertile, you've allowed your money to reproduce itself, that it reproduces the same way a bunch of bunny rabbits reproduce if you put them all in the pen together. So your money's supposed to have reproductive organs and not simply be sterile. Financial sterility is when you take your money and you kill it by giving it away and buying stuff with it. But when you take that $5 a day and instead invest that money with using a basic app, you can actually grow it tremendously. So first thing I will observe before we move on is that a person who does this is no longer poor. You could have started this plan as a poor person, but in 10 years, you're no longer poor. I don't know a single poor person who can say, I got $29,591 available in stock. You tell me, you show me a poor person who has $29,000 in stock. That person doesn't exist. Now but I haven't even really gotten into it yet. Let's go deeper. Let me show you the beauty of compound interest is that one fundamental rule of investing is that the most valuable asset you have is this thing called time. Time is your ally. So let's do instead of doing 10 years, let's do 20 years. Let's say a person does this just for 20 years straight, lives their lives, just make sure that they do the $5 a day investment plan. How much money do they have in 20 years? In 20 years, that person has $102,368. Now, once again, listen, the devil's in the details. The power is in the details. Look at this. They put in $36,000, but interest brought home almost $66,000. So interest gave them double the amount of money they put in. For every dollar that they put in, they got $2 in addition to that back, just by putting their money to the side and investing $5 a day. The amount of money it takes to go to Starbucks and buy one cup of coffee. The amount of money it takes, you can't even go to McDonald's and get a decent meal for $5. You got to buy on the dollar plan to spend $5 at McDonald's and get something to eat. You can't feed your family at McDonald's for $5. Not that you should. I'm not judging you if you eat at McDonald's. I'm just telling you the truth. So a person who starts off poor, the so-called poor, They do $5 a day over a 20-year period. If they'd done this, say, from 1996 to 2016, that person would have over $100,000 in wealth right now in stock. That person ain't poor no more. They started poor, they're out of poverty, way out of poverty. In fact, some people would say that they're doing really well. They're probably in the top 10%, 15% of Americans, all Americans, in terms of wealth. Now, let's really go for the grand finale here. Let's say that you did 30 years. Let's say you did this for your baby. You had a newborn baby, and you say in 30 years, I want my baby to be doing well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put $5 a day for that baby away for 30 years. So let's look at that number. That person would have $281,349, of which $54,750 is what they put in, and $226,599 comes from interest, comes from money that literally came out of the air. That's money they did not earn. That's money that almost seemingly came out of nowhere. And so here's the thing, and this is what I want you to show this video to any relative who thinks that they're doing well by just saving their money. Help them understand, look, if you save $5 a day for 30 years, yeah, you'd have $54,000. That's great. And maybe you didn't invest it because you're scared of losing some of that $54,000. But when you do that, when you don't invest that money and don't let that money work for you, that person just gave away almost $250,000. They literally took $250,000 and threw it down the toilet, threw it in the garbage, threw it away, went to the club and threw $250,000 in the air. So the thing about it is that the history of the stock market says that there's been no 20-year period, no 30-year period in American history where a person engaged in very basic investing strategies, a diversified portfolio, and lost money. It's never happened. If they were diversified, they never lost money. So what are they scared of? Well, they're probably afraid of the day-to-day fluctuations in the market. The market fluctuates on a daily basis, but over the long term, if I show you a chart that shows you the trend of the stock market since 1910, you're going to see up, 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 up. Over any decade, you're not going to see any decade where it just goes down, down, down. It doesn't do that. Even the Great Depression was a great chance for people to make a ton of money in the Great Depression. And so I wanted to show you this plan. I really want to see everybody kind of embrace this. I hope you'll make a commitment to doing this. In fact, if you want to make that commitment and you want to sign up to kind of tell us that you're making this commitment so we can track the numbers of people who are committed to doing this, you can actually join my investment club. You can go to the drboyceinvestmentclub.com and you can just sign up, and we'll give you updates and information. And then at some point, we'll send out a survey maybe in a year or two to see how many of you are sticking with the plan. It's the drboyceinvestmentclub.com. This is something that I think can make a huge tectonic shift in wealth. Because here's the thing. I looked at the wealth gap over time and I said, okay, so because some people would say, well, we can't catch up with white people because white people by the time we've all got our extra, $250,000 in wealth, whites will have had a lot more wealth growth. Their money would have grown too. But here's the thing. Half of all white people don't even invest in the stock market. That's the first thing. Only about 48% of all Americans participate in the stock market, which is a huge mistake. Number two, over the last 30 years, when you look at this chart, white wealth has only grown by about 30 to 40%. 30 to 40%. So if you go out 30 years and you look at what white wealth is projected to be, say in 30 years, you're talking about less than $200,000 in total family. Now, mind you, this is family wealth. This ain't individual. This is not per capita. This is family. The $5 a day plan is built for the individual. So if you have a family of 5 and all 5 of you do it, then that means that instead of $289,000, you're looking at a much bigger number. Let me show you what that number looks like. That's 1.4 million. 1.4 million. So your family is doing really well at that point, better than the median white family, better than the median white college educated family. That's another point to understand as well. A lot of you all can afford more than $5 a day. A lot of you waste more than $5 a day. So rather than calling this the $5 a day investment plan, I encourage you to call it the $10 a day investment plan. Let's see what happens. You $10 over 30 years, that's $500,000. 453,000 of which is interest. Most of it's interest. That's why Einstein flipped out over the power of compound interest, because he said, this man's a mathematical genius. He said, I do not understand how money can grow so fast just because you've invested it. So when you don't invest, you're losing money, you're throwing money away. Stop thinking that that you can't do it. You can do it. Don't be afraid. It's out there for you. That's so if you want to join our investment club, you can go to thedrboyceinvestmentclub.com. That's DR, not doctor, not the word spelled out, but thedrboyceinvestmentclub.com. And you can let us know that you're taking the $5 a day pledge. I'm not asking you to do $10 a day. I'm not asking you to do 20. I believe that if you're serious and you really want to do something with your life, and this does not, if you do this, this does not benefit me. This benefits you. If you want to build in your life, I encourage you to go hard, but if you can't go hard, then go soft. But make sure you're going. That's the key. You got to make sure you're going. You can't sit still, because when you sit still, then other people get ahead of you. The other thing too, if you're interested in our investment class on how to invest in the stock market, we talk in detail. I wrote my dissertation on it. I'm an expert on it. I've done research on it for many, many years. You can actually sign up at blackfinancialliteracy.com. That's blackfinancialliteracy.com. You can get a discount on the program if you want to check that out as well. But make sure you do this. Talk to your family about it. Show them this video. Help them understand that they need to let go of this lie that says that if you're born poor, you got to stay poor, or that if you don't, that you need money to make money. I just showed you that you only need a little bit of money to start the process. Growing large amounts of wealth is like starting a forest fire. A forest fire can start from the spark of a tiny match. Money is the same way. The spark of just a little bit of money a day, as long as you're consistent, can grow into massive amounts of money if you stick with the plan. If you don't stick with the plan, then you're going to have a problem. So if you want to join, make this commitment, join this pledge, go to thedrboyceinvestmentclub.com. Don't forget the THE, thedrboyceinvestmentclub.com, and you can sign up. Also, if you want to take the class, you can sign up at blackfinancialliteracy.com. That's blackfinancialliteracy.com. I will talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome day. Peace.